Hi, I'm Rabbi Abbi Sharofsky, Director of Intergroup Relations for the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington. And I'm here today speaking with Hava Shafner, a former student-to-student participant and Greater Washington, DC local, who is currently in Israel. And we are going to be speaking about her experiences living in Israel during this year and what it means to commemorate Yom Hazikaron and Yom Haatzmaut, Israel's Day of Remembrance and Day of Independence, as an American living in Israel. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you are right now, and why.
So I'm from DC. My family lives there, and right now I'm currently in Israel studying for the year at Midrashat Lindenbaum, and I plan to make Aliyah in the near future and go to the IDF. I feel at home in Israel, which is like something that's really special because it's not where I grew up. And I also feel like it's important for me to give back to Israel in a way that it's always been a place for me to come and feel safe and also just feel like accepted and included and like I belong.
How is life in Israel different during the pandemic? What's different, but what's also felt the same?
And it was very strict in the beginning. The whole first semester, we were in and out of lockdowns and we were always being tested and everything. And recently, it's really been all the rules have let up. Almost all the rules have let up. Everyone in my program is vaccinated in my entire building. There used to be around 10 capsules in my building, and now there are no capsules, and it's been a really incredible experience to be able to interact with the Israelis in the South American program and the program for people with special needs. So without plastic in between us.
So what's it like beyond the program? Have you been able to, I guess, fully engage with the country as as someone living there and being able to experience outside the walls of your school?
So because we've basically gained herd immunity in Israel, I was able to have a Pesach Seder with 23 people. I've been able to go to stay at people's houses, give everyone hugs, go to big outdoor events for the public.
What have you seen as some of the challenges during the pandemic?
You're not here with your family, you're here on your own, and there are people that take care of me, but it's different, especially during a global pandemic.
It sounds like Israel, in so many, like they have for so many other ways, has really found a way to persevere and push through. It's really amazing hearing that. What does Yom Hazikaron and Yom Haatzmaut mean to you as an American living in Israel?
My whole life, I've celebrated Yom Hazikaron and Yom Haatzmaut in my Jewish day school with 100 people, 200 people. And here you feel like the whole country is getting ready. Everyone's excited. Everyone's for Yom Haatzmaut. Everyone's has this personal connection to Yom Hazikaron. Everyone knows someone. Everyone knows someone who's been in the army, but almost everyone knows someone who's also died in the army, which is it just makes the whole experience so much more personal.
And what about that transition from Yom Hazikaron to Yom Haatzmaut? Have you ever been in Israel to experience that?
No, I've never been in Israel for it, but I've experienced it in America and my Jewish school. And it's definitely a hard transition, but I think it's also very powerful in the fact that you go from mourning the loss of soldiers and people who have died in terrorist attacks, and then you go into celebrating what they died for, the state of Israel and all of that.
So you're a student-to-student alum, student-to-student, the program where you go to schools and teen groups throughout the Greater Washington area and talk about your own Jewish identity and what it means to be a Jewish teen in a Jewish teen today. And I know that Israel is one of the topics that's often discussed within the student-to-student presentations. How would your student-to-student presentation change at all?
I think that I would definitely talk about the new experiences that I've had that have brought me closer to Israel. And I would also just tell my friends that are giving the presentations that it's just so important to talk about your personal experience. There's so much more to Israel than the politics. And it's a personal meaning for you, then you should talk about that and explain that to other people.
How have the politics been in watching around the elections this year?
I cannot keep up with Israeli politics. It's so complicated. There's so many parties and so many elections.
So I really appreciate you spending this time with us and getting to hear a little bit about what life has been like this year and the perspective from someone who is just on the brink of a really exciting journey.